Hello there, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're doing well. For today's video, we'll be building a haunted Victorian. I'm going to be building this in the world of Forgotten Hollow on the lot called Fledermaus Bend, which I just googled it to find out how to pronounce that. It apparently means bat in German, which I thought that was kind of interesting. This build will include a master bedroom on the first floor with a master bath, a half bath, and 2 upstairs bathrooms along with 2 bedrooms and a study. I planned on one bedroom being a sort of sewing or hobby room, but I may change that. I originally planned for this to be a regular lot for Sims to live on, but realized it would make sense to have my haunted house be a haunted house. So I'm going to look at the lot requirements since I haven't actually built one before for the game and see what I should do for the decor and whatnot instead. The haunted house obviously came with the occult pack. I always forget the name of that pack. You know what I'm talking about. So this video will be part 1. It's going to come out on Friday, and then the following Monday is when I'm going to release part 2. So in this video, we're going to obviously, as you're watching, we're going to put together our plan for the house. And then we are going to put together the outside, do a little bit of landscaping and whatnot, and then we'll get back together on Monday and finish up the house with decorating the inside of our house. Old historical homes or cute little cottages are really my favorite thing to build. So I've now built 2 Victorian style houses in a row. So I will have to try to think of something else to build for my next video. But honestly, they're so cute and classic and just beautiful to look at, honestly. If I ever win the lottery, I'm gonna buy myself a big, beautiful Victorian or Georgian house. I don't know, whatever I can find. But anyways, we are just about done with this planning. So now we can move on to putting in a bit more detail to the shape of the house. So we're going to start off with picking out our foundations. I'm going to be using 2 base game ones. I'm using this wooden cross one for our patio, and then I'm using this plain black one for the rest of the house. This build is going to be very black, very dark. I'm going to put together our patio real quick, and for the actual patio, we're going to be using these stairs from the Get Together pack, and I'm also adding a little step down for the back garden area. And I'm going to find this banister. It took me a minute to decide on one, so I picked this one out because it's going to match this base game fence that I'm going to be using for our front patio. For the columns and spandrels, I also used these from the base game one. I almost wanted to use the Strangerville one, but I decided against it because I'm pretty sure I used that for the last build. And I do try to not copy myself too often to keep the builds more interesting. So I'm going to place these at each of the corner of our front patio. And then we are going to pick out our wood. I believe I'm going to use this one from the Halloween pack. And then we're going to put our windows on. So typically I would put on our exterior paint first, but because I'm doing black windows on top of black paint, it's quite difficult to be able to see the windows and doors. So I wanted to show you guys those ones that I'm picking out first, and then we'll put on our exterior paint. So for the windows and doors, I wanted to obviously stick to a sort of old-fashioned Victorian-y vibe. I am using these shuttered and open and closed shuttered windows. They are base game and the doors are also base game. Somehow that just worked out. I ended up using base game on pretty much the whole exterior for the build. I imagine that this build or this house has been abandoned for a very long time, so that's why most of the windows shutters are shut. But I think over time either they rotted off or the house has been broken into and people have come in and opened the windows. So that's why I went back and forth between having open windows or closed windows, just to allow in more light and give the house a bit more of a spooky vibe. So now that we're done with our windows, we are going to move on to putting on our roof. Roofing is pretty straightforward. You guys can mostly just watch and see what I'm doing, but I'm going to be putting this 8-sided thing on our little tower here. Our patio gets its own roof, and I'm keeping everything nice and low so it doesn't run into our windows. I'm going to be using a gabled roof and doing a square one to cover the rest. It's quite typical of Victorian houses. They had very tall, dramatically sloped roofs. This is going to be a chimney, and I decided to have a sloped chimney on this side, and then there's a second chimney here, which is going to be our living room. And I just needed to put the roof there just to have the actual chimney have somewhere to rest. And then the entire back of the house is going to have its own roof. And this little sticky outy bit is going to be a breakfast nook. To help this octagon blend in a bit better, because it kind of looks like it's just sticking out right now, I'm going to use this gabled roof line. And now that we're done installing our roof, we are going to do a bit of work on the chimneys themselves. So I'm going to be using a half wall and then pushing the floor up like the platform. You'll see what I'm doing here in a minute. If you don't understand what I'm saying, I do apologize. And then I'm going to be placing the roof on top of that. And then this one is just going to stay the way that it is, but I am going to drag this in more and take it down so that it blends in. It's not so obvious. Sorry, we've been going back and forth. For the final bit of doors and windows, I'm just going to be putting in our back door. For the exterior walls, we're going to be using this awesome swatch from the Werewolf pack. It is like the perfect distressed wood. I actually learned something kind of interesting. Apparently historical buildings, they didn't paint them. So if you go to places like Salem, Massachusetts, you see that all of the old buildings are black when they're made of wood. It's because over time, the wind and weather and whatnot, it causes the wood to oxidize and it weathers it into a black color. I don't know why. I thought that was just interesting. So that's why I picked a color that I did. Also, it just looks extra spooky. And then I'm using this base game brick for all of our chimneys. All right, so we're going back to working on the roofing. I'm going to be making all of these roof lines black. Originally was going to use a sloped one, but it didn't look quite right, so I went in with a thicker one. And then after that, we are going to be painting the top of our roofs with this mossy distressed one that's also from the Werewolf pack. Very nice for building haunted houses, I will say. And then what are we doing? Oh, we're doing a half wall on the chimney just so that it's not this odd brown color. And then I'm going to put in our chimneys. We're going to be using this one from the Strangerville pack on both of our chimneys. And now to add a bit of extra detail and some drama to our roofs, I'm going to be using the Slot and Spear from the Get Together pack to just make our build look a little bit more historically and whatnot. I think these were just used to like keep birds from getting on your roof and pooing on it. I don't know why. Maybe I should look that up. I know that in like China, they used to put these stone details on the top to keep like evil spirits at bay. So I wonder if it's the same. I'm gonna have to look that up. If you can't tell, I do like learning about different like history and about architecture and again, just general history and whatnot. It's just so fascinating to me. I'm also gonna add this spike to the top of our tower. All right, I lied to you. One more window. We're using this one from the Cottage Living pack just to decorate those 2 window peaks. And then I realized I forgot to paint that stair. We're going to be using this Ivy League brick fence from the Romantic Garden pack to line the perimeter of our lot to help give our Sims a moody privacy. And then I am going to be putting in this base game iron wrought fence. It's the only iron one that lined up well enough with the fence that I used. And then we're going to be using this, again, iron low to the ground fence, sorry, excuse me, for the garden beds to keep our Sims from walking through them, keep them on the path. I took a lot of time to do all this terrain painting. Because I think I said this in the last video too, but Victorians, they liked very neat and tidy gardens. So when you see later on, I'm gonna just quickly show you what gardening I did. I tried to give the illusion of maybe at one point that this was a very neat and tidy garden. However, no one has been maintaining this land. This is gonna be like a little seating area. I'm just using the vampire pack fencing to fence it off. And then I wanted to make it look like maybe this was like a gazebo that had a roof at one point. So I'm adding these vampire pack columns, but obviously the roof has fallen off. It's done. So I'm gonna be spending quite a bit of time just aging and grunging up this build. I'm probably gonna end up doing that off camera because it'll take a long time. Anyways, I'm showing you really quick, explaining to you that I'm gonna be putting in lots and lots of plants. To save time, because this is already a 13-minute video, I like to keep them around 10. I'm going to do this off camera and we'll be right back. And just like that, here we are. Here's all of our plants. I used that dried up rose bush a lot from the vampire pack. I used some ivy also from the vampire pack. And I grunged it up a little bit using, there's like this water stain wall decor from, I believe, Strangerville. I'm zooming in so you can see it a little bit. Yeah, right there on that front part. Yeah, that's from Strangerville, I believe. And then I used like different cracks and whatnot from Vampire Pack. And I believe Werewolf Pack, there's like some scratches. Maybe it's from Cats and Dogs. I used those 3 packs for like the wall decor, just to make it look like this house has seen better days. No one's maintaining it. But I still gave like some garden beds. These are from the Werewolf Pack and whatnot. So your Sims can still live here and do their normal day-to-day things, but I just wanted everything to look very weathered down and just not maintained. Yeah, this house has definitely seen some better days. It is your average fixer-upper. She could really use some love. I did give some patio lights, and I used these get-together chairs and tables so your Sims have somewhere to sit up front. Somehow these did not get stolen. Maybe they're too heavy. Maybe that's why I picked the wrought iron ones. And as you can already see, I went ahead and picked out our wallpaper, flooring, and stuff on the inside. So we're going to take a quick little peek at that. I used some base game. I used Vampire Pack for that really cool wallpaper in our front sitting area. Here's a slot of the upstairs. And then I just used that same exterior paint on the upstairs tower. I think this is probably just an attic storage area, so they don't need anything fancy up there. And that is the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys on Monday, where we will finish this build together. Bye guys.